believe it's his armor set that says he's the Undying, but it'll take a while to kill him. Plus, once he's really after you, he's not the most happy about it. I mean, he goes easy on you until it's legit life and death. I appreciate how they handle that, where it's just like, do a certain amount of damage, and hey, he'll say you're worthy, because he can't die naturally, and he's pretty much just a badass who's been alive forever, for whatever reason. And I really like his armor. It's this really cool, like, really old bronze set with a whole mask and everything.
I can forge weapons for you.
Repair
You'll
everything.
come back alive.
Oh, thank you. I was worried sick. Sometimes I stop and wonder how I ended up here. Why didn't I protect my wife and daughter, even if it meant being slain by demons? Please, forgive me. It's all in the past. How did you do it? I can't imagine what it takes to slay a demon. If only I knew how to fight. If only I knew how to fight.
Just making sure we got all this dialogue. Put away some of this.
We are indebted to you.
I can forge
Everything.
weapons for you. Deep inside Stonefang Mine is an eight bones of the dragons.
Nope.
No interest. I can tell you're not going to last long.
Okay. Now that we've pretty much wrapped up everything else, let's go to the old one.
Hark, I hear a voice of yore. The old one calls for thee. Let us proceed below to its lair.
This is the old one. An enormous tree-like being of untold power. The beginning and the end of this world.
Old one, I have granted thy wish. A new demon. Come now, be good.
so somewhat weird and abstract is what you're looking at. It's this large, almost Lovecraftian monster with all these gigantic swords and weapons embedded into it. I think that these are like some sort of massive magical weapons that the monuments and others used in order during their initial battle with it, in order before the Nexus was constructed and they were able to seal it away before King Allant came and released it from its bonds. So you can see what the colorless fog can do to all that it touches eventually. Not only eats away at it physically, but also at its very existence. It is reality and its antithesis. It's enormous and awe-inspiring true God. And this is one of the reasons why the Vanguard Demon, I spoke of its redesign and how I appreciated one very particular detail. It had a couple like small growths coming out of its sides and folds that looked kind of like roots. So, I'm not 100% sure if that was an intended thing, but I like to think it was, in essence of the fact that the Vanguard is a pure demon. So it could, in theory, it would have some trappings and physical traits, kind of like its progenitor, this great old one here, who's enormous tree filled with plant life and everything. So it having those little roots just makes sense to me, even if they're just a small detail. And this forest inside it.
You have been chosen by the Old One. Will you seek the everlasting demon souls? Or has the monumental blinded you? Whatever your choice, you are our first visitor. May you be welcome here.
The true King Allant lies beyond this fog.
Surely you have seen for yourself the pain and suffering that fills this world. But God is merciful, and so created the Old One, a poison to the poison. The Old One will feed upon our souls and put an end to this tragedy.
This is truly King Allant. This disgusting abomination of massive flesh twisted and distorted into a barely recognizable humanoid shape. With the soul brand, or a demon brand rather, sticking out of what was once, at one time, a hand. All these disgusting pustules, this black inky tar, like that used to be bone and sinew, these festering boils, what may or may not be what became of his eyes here. Notice how he also has little like root-like structures. And that black color is his from all this time spent within the deepest, densest fog. He is helpless. To be somewhat thematically and conceptually similar to Shadow Tower, again, the ending of Shadow Tower, you face a humanoid boss in armor, who's basically the real final boss, who's actually is difficult. And then you face another demon right after it that is really weak and really can barely even hurt you. That's also blob-like, so it's just one of those things. Even if it was completely unintended, it's thematically and visually similar in its intent.
You fool! Don't you understand? No one wishes to go on.
And the final weapon we pull out of the ground. Soulbrand. I'm still getting them confused. The blade that can cut the very soul, held for generations by the Boletarian royal family. Paired with its counterpart, Demon Brand, to form Northern Regalia. Since its coronation, the sword has never left King Alon's side. The closer a soul to a wielder is to a demon, the more powerful this blade becomes. No wonder it was chosen by old King Alon. Maybe this is the one that Dark Soul tendency. God, I completely forget which each one actually scales off of. Since it's not 100% clear, it doesn't say the literal stat. Unless I'm missing something. Yeah, no.
Thy work is done. Slayer of demons, go back above. The Nexus shall imprison thee no longer. I shall lull the old one back to slumber. The old one and I shall slumber evermore, as it should be. Thou mayst go, be gone to thy world. The old one and I, thou mayst go.
So you have two choices here. You can attack and kill her, or you can leave and allow them to slumber forever.
Thanks. At last, the end is in sight.
Here we're choosing to leave.
The Old One, along with the Maiden, were swept back into the lulling fog. Boletaria was spared from the demons, but also lost its knowledge of the soul arts. The souls lost during the pandemonium were never retrieved. And today, the unstable world has another monumental to hold its fabric together. A brave new hero of unprecedented power.
So, for my headcanon, the one that I'm actually willing to believe, since, also, these are some really fantastic credits, by the way. These are a definite change from the ones in, on the PS3, in which this starts with a bunch of, cool, shots of the areas you've been. With the music overlay, it's really nice. But, since the old one was lulled back to slumber in this ending forever, and the power of magic and miracles was lost, and hey look, on the left of the screen, there's the kitty. I appreciate that they throw him in the credits. But this is what, and since there's no magic or miracles in Bloodborne, and it's at a far later time, to the legend of the original Demon Souls Direct Me. Oh, did not read that fast enough. Sorry. Let me try to stay focused. But since the old one was lulled back to sleep, and the world lost its magic, it lost its miracles, people, as time went on, eventually developed firearms in place of it, and this eventually led to the more Victorian eras, and the old one disappeared to who knows where at this point. And your main character here became a new monumental, potentially taking the Nexus with it. Went and is now helping hold the fabric of reality together. And I also personally like to believe that the old one is just another one of the many great ones in this larger universe, like the Moon Presence, and Murgo's Wet Nurse, and Kaz, and all those so many unknowable eldritch gods in the Bloodborne universe, because the old one can very well fit in with them. Now, this is more mirroring the original PS3 credits, in which they had these high quality renders of the bosses set with these really nice images of them. In this version, they added fire around them, so it's, they're in the exact same poses and everything, except that the photos look a little more actiony, and of course they're using the updated models and stuff. But other than that, they are one-to-one recreations, and it's really, really nice. So yeah, old one sealed away, people had to develop new technologies, and the quote-unquote magic that you use in Bloodborne is not magic at all, but it is invoking of various celestial powers from beyond your world. I think that they exist in the same universe, except Yharnam is, I'd say, at least like a country or more away from wherever Boletaria now is, if it even exists in any form by its time, because this is also referenced in that Father Gascoigne is a title that is not used by the Healing Church. They don't recognize the use of Father. That's from a foreign country, which saints and stuff are things that happen in here. in Boletaria. And I'm not going to use this as canon. It shouldn't be because it's cut content, but he did originally say Umbasa when he died in the original sort of test builds that they put out, and people broke and got to that boss that wasn't finished and stuff like that. And yeah, okay. That's gonna be it on my headcanon, but once again, I really enjoyed this game. Again, look at these really cool renders they got. I'm pretty sure that one's new, where they combined the dragon god and the other dragon. And the red one with it. That, I'm pretty sure, was not in the original credit sequence. It's really cool, though. I'd love that as a PC wallpaper or something. But, game is still fantastic. It's an amazing remake. It knows it hits all the right places. The art direction does still look great, regardless of what other people try to say about it. And of course, this is something I'll talk about until I'm blue in the face, but it's okay not to like the changes. That's fine. I don't have a problem with someone does not like the way the visuals of this game turned out. That is completely fine. It's just it should be framed as an opinion. Art is subjective. It is not objectively worse than the PS3 version. It is not objectively better than the PS3 version. It's different. And I think they both have their strengths and their weaknesses. And it's perfectly okay for them to exist both how as they are. And Bluepoint certainly did not ruin much of From Software's intentions, or any of them really, in its visual changes. They are new interpretations, and the game looks and runs and plays flawlessly. Of course, that's a completely separate argument, of course, but artistically, it still looks freaking great, and they really nailed it in just about every area. I mean, getting a nice good look at these bosses again. Even the little changes they made look great and are still very faithful to the source material. Just readapted. And of course made in much higher definition, with significantly more detail. Rest in peace, Garl Vinland and Maiden Estrella. Sorry to do that to you, but kinda have to. And this of course gets me excited again for Elden Ring, which is only like less than 2 months away, barely, as of this recording. Right now it is the 31st of December 2021 that I'm finishing this up. And it's gonna give me a nice amount of time to space out the two and not have them too close together, so I'm not worried about being burned out by the time I get to that, thankfully. And again, I keep talking about Dragon's Dogma, but that's also giving me Elden Ring gives me vibes of that game, and it's gonna be really, really cool to feel all those seemingly married together into this really neat new game by From Software. Now, for this playthrough, I'm not going to be showing off the alternate ending like I did with Bloodborne. I have other plans for that sort of thing in the future. It's going to be a little while, but I will be circling back to the ending for that. And here it's nice that they go ahead and throw in the credits for the original PlayStation 3 version. For pretty much everybody. As far as I'm aware, I mean, it's like, okay, this is something that's unfortunately all too common in a lot of the video game industry. Is like, if you weren't there when the game shipped, they don't put you in the credits, and that's pretty fucked up. But it's really nice to see everything being acknowledged from the original PS3 version here, like this. I mean, I know people don't like to sit through credits, but they have a point. They're there for a reason, and it's always incredibly garbage when whatever form of media it is leaves people out of the credits. Yeah, see, they even got the original voice cast. They're showing the entire original credits right there. I mean, you can make the argument that they didn't need to, but I really appreciate that they did. Yeah, see? And just replay the whole thing. Everybody who had a hand in making the original version that led to this is getting their acknowledgement, as they rightfully should. Even the new softwares, the old softwares in the PS3 version that they didn't even use for this, they're being recognized, and that's something I very, very much appreciate. Kind of rambling on at this point, given how long they're going, but it's something to be thankful for. Now, there is a gallery function that we will be taking a quick look at before we finally close out this playthrough. Just like the PS4 remake of Shadow of the Colossus. I am massively looking forward to whatever the hell Bluepoint is up to next. And you get the Maiden in Black Demon Soul. And much like Bloodborne, you are kicked immediately into New Game Plus.
Soul of the lost withdrawn from its vessel.
And you can't level up until you go and talk to Monumental, come back down here, play through the first level again, kill the Phalanx, and you have to hold on to all your souls and stuff until then and not die. But hey, you made it here, so not a big problem. Now, also appreciated touch when you beat the game. If you recall from the very first video, this title screen, before you finish the game and when you start a new file, it shows the upper woman holding the sword of this statue in the Nexus. But once you finish the game, you can the title screen changes to a bottom woman, and it's just a nice little additional thing. I really like when games change up their title screens for whatever reason. Let's see. Gallery. There we go. General concepts. See, there's a good look at Doran's armor designs. I'm also gonna flash through these ones. Nice good look at Old King Allant there. Some potential redesign concepts for the Burrowers in Stonefang. Yeah, they did explore being a lot more drastic with their redesigns, but in the end they chose to remain more faithful. Like that prisoner horde, that big old corpse ball. See how they were gonna have it walking on its little knuckles and stuff like that. Visual effects concepts. See, that previews some of the original Flamewaker design they almost went with before they removed one of its eyes and broke them up a bit to make them closer to its original, which I'm glad they listened to the feedback on that one. Again, I still think that design is cool, but I'm glad that they got closer to the source on that one. Fool's Idol. Some old King Allant. Yeah, all the particle effects and everything in this just looks so damn good. More concept art. Boletaria here. Shrine Storms. Latria. I love all those hanging chains, it's so cool. Technically this is key art and not concept art. Concept art is supposed to be a lot more rough. This is key art. This is something that they really dove into and fleshed out. Concept art is like, it's really hard to explain without a good visual example, but what you know as concept art is generally more regarded as key art in terms of business. But here you get a nice good look at the Latria stained glass. Valley of Defilement. Stonefang. All the Archstones, including the incomplete giant one. These are what they used for the little previews for the going to different areas. Now you can see their full detail. They aren't animated like when you look at those. It's just a static image. Now, a lot of these are recreations of the original game's loading screens. Like, when you load into random areas or whatever, you just get these random screens. Like this one where these two looked like they were having a fist fight at one point. Strava, Frake, Iria, Rydell, Patches, Yurt, Grave Robber Blige, Mephistopheles, who only appears in pretty much in your black playthroughs. Now this one I'm pretty sure was not in the original loading screens. I'm very sure because they had a loading screen in the original in which Bior was holding a katana because it was based on something that was changed in mid-development and they never bothered to change the loading screen. It even said Bior of the Twin Fangs on the loading screen, so it wasn't meant to be a player character just in his armor and with a katana. It was actually meant to be Bior. Meralda, Urbane, there's Doran, I don't know what I have to do to unlock that Allies and Rogues set. But these are renders from the credits. Everything's been recreated from the PS3 renders that they used in those credits. But now they've added all these flames and stuff, and of course the updated models as I spoke about earlier. And you get a nice good look at them, and they look great. It's nice that they're static. Yeah, and that one, I'm very sure is brand new. Okay, yeah, and here you can look at the little animated versions of those images. And they even have little sound effects playing. It's a little hard to hear, but... And of course, you have all the watchable videos that you can unlock. And that wraps up this playthrough of Demon Souls. Thank each and every one of you who sat through all this, and I appreciate that. Just tuning in. I just do this for a passion. I love these games and I love to talk about them, and this is a fantastic outlet to do it. I don't know when my next playthrough is going to be, but it's going to be different from when it comes to playthroughs, I'm going to be taking a break from software type games and Souls-likes and everything like that. It's going to be different. So, before I keep rambling on too much, thank you all again very much. And I will see you later. Bye.